Hi, this Saskatchewan Centre for Patient-Oriented Research instructional video will walk you through filling out the pre-expense claim form so that your patient and family advisors can submit and receive reimbursement for expenses that they incur for their participation on your project. So the example that we're going to use for filling out this form for this video is that of Wendy, a patient and family advisor that needs to travel from Saskatoon to Regina for a one-day meeting on January 31st. And Wendy needs to leave the night before the meeting, so she'll need accommodations. The Pre-Expense Authorization form is the first step in the process, particularly for PFAs who will be incurring expenses to attend your meeting or your event. Prior to your event or your meeting, identify the patient and family advisors who will require a pre-expense authorization. So basically, anybody who needs to submit for expense reimbursement for anything other than parking. A pre-expense authorization form is required for PFAs who will need their travel expenses reimbursed for things like meals, mileage, accommodations, flights, child or elder care. So again, do not complete a form for PFAs who are only expensing parking. These PFAs will just simply submit an expense claim form instead, attach the receipts, and submit to HQC for reimbursement. And this process is covered in another video. So you will be filling out the pre-expense form on the behalf of your PFA and then submitting that to the HQC administrative coordinator. So there's some questions you need to ask yourself and also your PFA regarding what expenses they expect that they will incur. So will they be needing to recover mileage because they are traveling into a center from a smaller town, for example, from Warman into Saskatoon or Martensville into Saskatoon? Will they be paying for parking on campus or at a hospital or at some other facility? Will they need to pay for meals in the course of their travel? Will they need accommodations? And when you are considering accommodations, you need to ask your PFA if accommodations are needed, and if so, how many nights? When does the PFA need to check in and check out? Some PFAs have mobility issues and need to travel well before an event for comfort. Then you also need to take into consideration how many meals are needed, and this will include you asking your PFA questions such as, when will you travel the day before and when will you travel back after the meeting? One thing to note is that no reimbursement for meals will be provided if the meals are provided at the meeting or the event. As with the other forms, you can find the pre-expense form on the skipper.ca main page by scrolling over to the Researcher tab. Scroll down on the submenu to PFA Reimbursement Processes and Forms and click. And then you just click on the Pre-Expense Authorization Form button. It will pop open a browser window with the form in it, and just like the confirmation of logged hours form, we recommend that you download this form to your computer and fill it in there. When you click download to your computer, a dialog box opens up asking you if you want to save the file or open it with Adobe Acrobat. Just click open with, click OK, and the form will pop open on your computer for you. So if you don't know your PFA's contact information, we encourage you to contact them so that you can have their address and their phone number, particularly if you are going to be booking hotel accommodations for them. The hotel will generally ask for a phone number, so you want to have that on hand. So for this example, I filled in the contact information for a fictitious patient and family advisor with a fictitious address, an email address, and phone number. The meeting that we are going to have this PFA attend is going to occur in Regina. So the meeting/event name is the Skipper PFAC meeting. The date is January 31st, 2019, and the start and end time is 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. The project name is Skipper because this is a Skipper committee. Your project name, if you are a Sprout grant recipient, would be Sprout, and then you would put in a hyphen and let's say your last name. So my last name is Sharp, and I'll just put that in there. So for this example, we're just going to keep it as Skipper. and I'm going to enter in a fictitious budget code. If you do not know your budget code, you can contact the HQC Administrative Coordinator and you can get it that way, or you can just leave it blank and it will be filled in on your behalf. Now I filled in the mileage. The travel city from is Saskatoon to Regina. The total kilometers, which is a round trip total kilometers, is 517. And it's a flat rate at 45.35 cents per kilometer. Please note that as of February 1st, 2019, the per kilometer rate is 45.35 cents per kilometer, and this is reviewed twice a year. The form will also automatically calculate the total dollar value for kilometers on your behalf. So for this example, only one night is required because if you remember, our PFA is traveling the night before the meeting and staying just one night and coming home the next day. So one night is required at $156.27, and that number we obtained for room and tax by calling the hotel directly. We booked the hotel by calling them. We received a confirmation from the hotel. This is a fictitious hotel name, fictitious street, same with the phone number. And the accommodations will be booked by you if you are a Sprout grant recipient, PETA team, or if you're a STEP trainee. The meals section is something that we did by talking to the PFA and asking when will you be leaving on January 30th, which is the day before the meeting. The PFA will be leaving sometime between breakfast and lunch and will need to be reimbursed for a lunch and a supper on January 30th. The PFA will be returning the day of the meeting and will return home sometime after 7 o'clock. Because lunch and breakfast are provided at the meeting, the PFA will only need one supper for that day. So number of meals in total for travel within Saskatchewan for this example is one lunch and two supper. The last section that we're going to fill out in this example is a reimbursement for parking. Because this PFA needs to travel from the hotel to where the meeting is being held at the U of R, she will be incurring an parking expense. We've estimated the cost at $25. So all of the fields have been totaled up automatically by the form, and the total pre-expense estimate is $442.73. This is just an estimate. So when your PFA submits their expense claim form, if there's a large variance, you will be contacted to verify the accuracy of this information. This form is simply to provide authorization that this PFA is allowed to incur these expenses in order to participate in your project. So now that the form is fully filled in, we can submit by email by inserting a digital ID onto the signature line, or we can configure a digital ID through Adobe, or a slightly more complicated way is to print off the form, sign it, scan it, and then email it to HQC. For this example, I'm going to click on the signature line. I have a digital ID already configured for Adobe Acrobat, and we will provide you links and videos on how to do this for yourself. So now I have inserted my digital ID, the date, and I'm going to click Submit by Email, and then this form will be emailed to HQC for processing. Once received by the HQC Administrative Coordinator, you can expect to receive an email confirmation that the form has been received, and then as soon as the form has been authorized by HQC, you will receive a Pre-Expense Authorization number. This number is inserted onto an expense claim form to link these two documents so that when the PFA submits the expense claim form, the HQC accounting department will know that it's a legitimate expense. Thanks again for watching our video. Please visit us at skipper.ca.